There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest color A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Huawei Innovation Day 2020. Personally, I know Huawei for a couple of years now because of its smartphone with a super camera. But rarely it is mentioned that Huawei has served Europe for 20 years. In the year 2000, the first research and development center has been established in Sweden. Since then, thousands of engineers have spent their youth there, committed to bring accessible and the best network connecting people from Iceland to Malta. Today, Oxford Economics is about to give us a full picture on the contribution and impact of Huawei in Europe. I would like to invite Pete Collings, Director of Economic Impact Consulting, Europe and Middle East, Oxford Economics.
I'm pleased to be able to present the latest findings from Oxford Economics' study assessing the economic contribution that Huawei makes to Europe. And this is an update study for a report commissioned first of all in 2019 that explored the impact of Huawei in 2018. But this year, so in 2020, we're looking at Huawei's footprint in Europe in 2019. Before getting into the numbers and really sort of reporting the results of the study, it's first of all important to think about how do we explore economic footprint. And at the heart of any economic footprint assessment, we have what we consider is what we call a direct impact. Now that is the contribution that any firm makes by itself. So in Huawei's case, it is the people that it employs, it is the wages and the profits that it generates within Europe, because together wages and profits are what economists call gross value added. And when you add every organization's gross value added up and make some slight adjustments for taxes and subsidies, you end up with GDP. So we have employment, we have GDP, and then the final metric that we look to explore economic footprint is through the taxes that are paid to the relevant authorities. So for Huawei itself, that relates to the direct corporate income tax that it's paying, and then also the taxes that are paid on behalf of and by its employees. So we're thinking here about the sort of personal income tax and then social security contributions. Now, in addition to Huawei's own activity, it also interacts with the economy through the purchases that it makes. So by buying goods and services from suppliers based throughout Europe, it supports economic activity within those suppliers. It enables them to employ people, it enables them to make profits and to pay wages and to pay taxes. So they're employing people, they're generating GDP, and they're supporting government revenues. They're also doing something else, which is they are then relying on their own suppliers to provide the inputs they need in order to provide the goods and services that Huawei is buying from them. And in turn, their suppliers' and their suppliers' and so on are all being stimulated into activity because of Huawei's initial purchase. So what we do is we trace how the spending that Huawei makes ripples through various industries across the European economy, and what does that, and calculate what that means in terms of how GDP is generated, how employment is supported, and the taxes that are raised as well. Now, I've mentioned twice that we're supporting jobs, measuring the jobs that Huawei are supporting, both through its own employment and then through its supply chain. And that represents a third channel of impact that we consider when we're looking at an economic footprint assessment. And that's what we call the induced or the consumer spending effect. So in return for their efforts, these employees and these workers will be paid wages and paid salaries, and they'll be using these salaries to fund their own sort of household expenditure. So purchases of consumer goods and services that are bought from throughout the European economy from a variety of different industries. And in much the same way as Huawei's own purchases, the spending that these consumers make supports activity in the providers of those goods and services, and also supports activity within those providers' own supply chains. And again, we map that out across the European economy, looking at it industry by industry and country by country. And we can translate that activity into additional GDP, jobs that are supported, and also tax revenues for governments. So we have three core channels of impact. We have the direct impact, which is Huawei itself. We have the indirect supply chain impact, and we have the final induced consumer spending impact. When we take those three together, we have what we call our economic footprint for Huawei. And again, it's measured in terms of contribution to GDP, the employment that's supported, and the tax revenues that are raised. However, some companies, such as Huawei, also have a fourth channel of impact. And that's what we call a catalytic impact. So this recognizes that some firms, which includes Huawei's, the activity that they undertake and the services they provide can have a wider effect that boosts activity elsewhere in the economy beyond its supply chain and beyond the spending of its consumers. And this can take the form of, for example, training or research and development spillovers, and they generate broader benefits for governments, consumers, and society as a whole. So within our study, we highlight the R&D that Huawei undertakes and how that generates greater productivity for the rest of the European economy. Now, moving on to the numbers themselves. So what we found in 2019 is that Huawei's direct operations continue to grow within Europe. So we estimate that in 2019, the company contributed around 2.8 billion euros to Europe's GDP. And this is a significant increase over the past 5 years. Indeed, we see that on an annual basis since 2015, the direct contribution that Huawei has made to Europe's GDP has increased by 11.4% per year in real terms. In 2019, we also found that the company supported employed 13,800 people, and that's almost 30% more than in 2015. And in tax revenue terms, it paid 1.6 billion euros in direct tax payments, and that's around 400 million more than in 2015 again. So it's very much a story of strong growth for the company as a whole. And it's also a story of strong growth for the spending that it engages with European suppliers. So we estimate that between 2015 and 2019, Huawei spent almost 31 billion euros with European suppliers. This is spending both triggered by the local operations of Huawei's businesses within Europe and also from its worldwide operations too. And of that almost 31 billion, actually 30% of that occurred in 2019. So we're seeing a significant ramp up in terms of the amount of spending that is occurring with European suppliers over time. And we estimate that this spending supported a 7.3 billion euro contribution to GDP in 2019. So that's in addition to the 2.8 billion direct GDP contribution. And again, there's significant growth since 2015. So we see it's actually more than doubled, in terms of the level of contribution that is being made through Huawei's supply chain compared to 2015. And this activity is estimated to have supported over 112,000 jobs and a further 2.5 billion euro in tax payments for governments throughout Europe. The third channel of impact, as I mentioned, is the consumer spending that takes place because of people being employed directly or indirectly by Huawei's presence in Europe. And as we've seen, there's over 125,000 jobs in Europe that were directly, people were directly employed within Huawei or were employed within its supply chain in 2019. And we estimate that the spending of these individuals supported a further 6.3 billion euro contribution to GDP, over 98,500 jobs, and a further 2.5 billion euro in tax payments for governments throughout Europe. So when we bring all of those three channels of impact together, we have the direct impact, we have the indirect impact, and we have the induced impact, we get a picture of Huawei's total contribution to Europe's economy. So what does that mean? Well, in total, we see that the company contributed an estimated 16.4 billion euros to Europe's GDP in 2019. And that's a significant increase on the previous 5 years, where in 2015, its contribution amounted to about 8.1 billion euros. Again, that's measured in 2019 prices, so it's adjusting for inflation. Or put another way, when we look at it in annual terms, the growth has been 19% per year between 2015 and 2019. In employment terms, we see that the company supported over 224,000 jobs in 2019. And again, this is significantly increased since 2015 at a rate of about 17% per year. And finally, we see that in terms of taxes, the company and the activity it supports within Europe generated around 6.6 billion euros of tax revenues for governments in 2019. And again, that's a significant increase on 2015, around 70% again annually, that growth has occurred. And to put the figure of 6.6 billion into context, we estimate that equates to the average salaries of around 151,000 teachers across Europe in a single year. But as I mentioned, Huawei's contribution extends far wider than its economic footprint. We need to think also about the activity that it undertakes, in particular the R&D that it invests in. So in 2018-2019, Huawei was estimated to be the 5th largest investor in R&D globally. And since 2010, the company has invested over $1 billion US in R&D across its 23 European research sites and partnered with hundreds of universities throughout Europe and other institutions undertaking various pieces of research. Indeed, when we look at 2019 by itself, we actually find that Huawei is the company that's made the most patent applications to the European Patent Office in that year. And why do we focus on R&D? Well, R&D is important for an economy because not only does it deliver benefits for the company undertaking the R&D through improved products or greater efficiencies that ultimately improves a company's profitability, but it also spills over into the rest of the economy. For example, consumers using the latest products and latest services may become more efficient and in turn increase their productivity. Alternatively, by developing new practices, companies such as Huawei can talk to their suppliers and improve their suppliers' productivity too. So what we see is when you undertake R&D, you actually deliver a far wider productivity benefit to an economy than just retaining all of that productivity boost internally within the company itself. And that productivity boost is important for an economy as a whole, because what we see is actually the long-term productivity, long-term growth really is underlined and driven by productivity improvements. So by investing in R&D in Europe, Huawei is helping Europe to secure its longer-term growth. Thank you very much for your time, and we strongly encourage you to read the rest of the report online. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Collins, for your solid research. We are going to continue on the discussion on innovation from the perspective of talents, how technology helped them to face different challenges and solve their problems. I would like to invite now Mr. Carlos Pons, founder and president of the European Digital Society, to give us his insights.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today in the presentation, where I will talk about what I consider to be the perfect founder. If perfection exists, it should contain the following competences that I will talk about today. But first of all, for those who don't know me yet, I am Carlos Pons. I'm currently based in Brussels. I have been working in tech in different roles for almost 10 years already. And early this year, I decided to found an organization that I'm currently presiding, that is the European Digital Society, which aims to promote a more ethical and inclusive European digital ecosystem. Apart from that, I'm working on digital transformation at the Council of the European Union here in Brussels through Everest. And well, I'm basically an active speaker on digital ethics and digital inclusion. I did several talks during the last years, and I'm very happy to be with all of you today to talk about what I consider the competences to be the perfect founder. So the first competence that the perfect founder should have is the capacity to start. It seems a pretty obvious statement, and it is, but if you ever try to start a project, an initiative, to open a business, I'm sure that you are very familiar with this feeling. The thing is that most of the people actually spends a lot of time trying to have everything under control, everything clear, and I would say that this day, most of the times never arrives, and it's more a personal feeling. You are trying to reduce the risk of failure by maybe preparing too much to just start. I think that the best thing that the perfect founder can do is just, as soon as they have the first feelings of wanting to contribute to the society, they need to start to move, to go outside, to let's say, have a first contact with the market as soon as possible, and learn on the way. I'm not saying that you don't need to be a little bit prepared or to do a competitor analysis before to start, or these kind of things. I'm sure that you understand perfectly what I'm talking about. You should say to yourself that it's enough planning, enough research, and it's the moment to start. The second competence that I think that a founder should have is resilience. A founder needs to be resilient and don't be afraid of the problems or difficulties that they will face in the future. Basically, a resilient person is a person that sees the problem as an opportunity to learn and to grow. And that is what the perfect founder should do. They should approach the problems as opportunities to understand better themselves, their business, their context, try to learn as much as possible, take the best possible action at hand, and learn from the future, and try to avoid that at least the same problems repeat again and again. Together with that resilience, a founder needs to be also patient and perseverant. Patient because needs to know that not always things can go in the speed, let's say, that the founder wants. Sometimes things take time, and sometimes opportunities are about time, and sometimes you cannot do anything else, even if a lot of people say, yes, you can always do something more, and I agree with that. But sometimes it's about time. Sometimes you cannot do anything more, so you need to basically change your focus and focus on the next thing that where you have the power to control it. About perseverance, basically, in different stages of creating a business, you will have your ups and downs, and that is something very common. It's not something that it just happens to you, or that means that you should shut down your business. You basically need to be perseverant and understand that these ups and downs are part of the journey. You just need to keep moving forward, keep your mindset as positive as possible. The third competence is about openness and about the capacity to understand that feedback is key for success. The capacity to embrace feedback as part of your process. The thing is that a lot of leaders, a lot of founders think on leadership as a role or a set of responsibilities that need to appear that you are not weak, that you are always right, that you have control on everything, have everything under control. This cannot be more wrong. In my opinion, the true leadership is the leadership that is human, humble, empathetic, that understands that when they expose their ideas to the rest of their team, that ideas could be wrong or that other people could have better ideas than them. There is one thing that is key. It's pretty obvious, but sometimes it's missed. That is, a leader, the founder, is just another part of the team. It's basically a person with a set of responsibilities and a limited knowledge that is part of a bigger machine. That's why you have a team, because you don't know about everything. And there are people that are specialized on certain areas that you don't know about that will help you to understand and to move forward and to create a better service or product. The fourth point is about having a user-centric mindset. I love this point because I invested most of my career on promoting and implementing user-centric processes in the companies that I worked for to basically create digital services or products that better match the real needs of the real people that for which we are working for, right? It seems pretty obvious, but business is something that you do for people. So it's very important to hear that people, right? To understand what they want, what are their needs. I'm not talking about hearing something that they are requesting or telling and directly going to do it. It's about to understand why they are saying something, why they are telling you that they need something, and then with all of that knowledge, take an action on that. It's very important that the founder understands that they are doing something for someone, and that someone needs to be part of the process of creation of a solution. In my opinion, and for my taste, I like to involve the final users as much as possible throughout all the process of creation. I like to research first and properly understand what is the problem to be solved. I like to show them a proposal, a concept based on the first insights that I got from the first conversations, and then polish together with them a better solution for them. And then when we deliver the product or the service, I go to the same people, and after a while, I want to understand if in a real scenario, in the real world, that worked well or not. As you can see with this process, the risk of going to the market with something that doesn't work, it's highly reduced. So a founder needs to understand that in 2020, it's very important to put the user in the center of your decisions. Always listen people, always be empathetic with the people that basically will be acquiring, will be paying for your service or your product. And the last point for me is one of the most important ones. As founder of the European Digital Society, I really believe that one of the key competences to be the perfect founder is to also be a good citizen. I'm sure that you're surprised to see this point in a list of competences to become a successful founder. But let me explain it a little bit. You need to understand your business as a gear that will be integrated in a bigger machine that is society. As gear in that big machine, you need to fit. You need to fit with what is there, and you need to be responsible to keep the machine working properly, not just for the time that your business exists, but also for the future generations. As a society, we are going through an historic transformative process in many ways. But I would like to summarize it in a statement. You need to understand that the future of business will be ethical, will be inclusive and sustainable, or it will not be. People is demanding these three key factors in business right now, and I'm sure that it will be basic for the future. And you need to understand that not following these three key elements when you are creating your business will cause friction. And I will say that, to say it very explicitly, friction always goes directly to cause fire. It's not good for your business to have friction and to create conflicts with basically your final customers. And in many ways, there are a lot of times where this can happen if you don't take care about basically respecting your final customer, the person that will put their money to acquire your service or your product. Thank you a lot for your time today. I hope that you liked the list of competences to become the perfect founder. And now I'm open for questions, and I leave as well my LinkedIn in case that you would like to connect with me in the future. I will be very happy to change opinions on the concepts that I exposed today.
Mr. Pons. After this set of solid data, I would like to welcome a front runner of data analysis, Mr. Gnat, Head of Communication Early, to share his practices on how to use AI and IoT to contribute to the society and address the worldwide air pollution crisis.
A lot of people in the world dream about a job with a purpose. A lot of people around the world dream about work that matters. I believe that at Early, we are happy to have such a place when we solve a very important problem. Air. We all breathe it. We all suffer from it. As the statistics from WHO organizations say, 9 out of 10 people all around the world breathe polluted air. A poor air quality contributes to 7 million premature deaths per year. Air pollution damages every organ of our body, contributing to heart and lung disease, diabetes, dementia, cancer, brittle bones, and damaged skin. And during the COVID era, unfortunately, I have bad news for you all. Bad air pollution, as a lot of scientists from all around the world say, really badly affects the progress of COVID-19 and the death statistics. And here comes Early, a project that started in year 2016 in Krakow, Poland. A very beautiful city, but at the same time, very seriously affected by bad air quality. The 4 alumni of the Technical University of Krakow were preparing for a marathon in their city during the winter period. And the problem was that they couldn't find real-time measurements about the air, what they are breathing, when they were going out to train for the marathon. And as they were technical people who had the resources in their university to start something, they decided that they will build a device that will help to measure air quality in real time. Because back in the days, in the city of Krakow, there was a few state monitoring stations, I think 3 or 4. But of course, they provided air quality data, but people were unable to know what air they were breathing at the exact location, at the exact time. And that's where our project started. The project was to the idea behind the project was to build a sensor that will be very easy to install and put everywhere to send real-time air quality data and distribute it through a widely available app and web map. Of course, everyone can access it, so the people will know if they can go out and take some outdoor activities or stay at home, for example. Of course, with this data, they also were able to check the air quality for the next 24 hours, because we've built our own algorithm to have an air quality forecast. And if somebody wants to study air quality like very seriously, they can attack our they can go to our data science panel and analyze the historical data and see what air they are breathing at the moment. And it turned out that this project started to work out very nicely because there was a huge demand for something like this. There was a huge demand, and as they started, the first early investor invested in 100 devices like that, and through a giveaway through all the city of Krakow, there were over 100 volunteers who wanted to take air quality sensors and put on their balcony, on their window, anywhere, and they started a first network of sensors in Krakow consisting of 100 sensors. And really, it was a tipping point because a lot of people realized that they can measure air quality very differently and more precisely and be aware what they are breathing at the moment. Like, for example, we have our sensors that are really easy to install. They are single plug and play, and even a non-technical person can contribute to our network. Each of these devices is tangled to the state monitoring stations. We calibrate it on a daily basis, 24 hours a day, to be sure that the air quality measurements in a given area are accurate and they are working well. Of course, we have this map and mobile app. You can decide which location you want to check. You can have a notification when the quality goes bad. And in many cases, well, it's became a really viral and popular way to share quality data, because you can probably see somewhere, definitely if you are, for example, in Poland, Romania, or the UK, that a lot of people just make screens from this app and share it through their social media channels when they want to prove that they are breathing something really bad, and it causes always a stir. A lot of people really discuss it and share this kind of content. And of course, it's contributed to the popularity of our solution as well, because to some extent, Early, the startup, is a viral product because it comes from solving a real problem, and a lot of people just want to discuss air quality because they feel that is a topic worth discussing. And 4 years after launching our project, we have probably the densest network of sensors in the whole European Union, and we've reached exotic countries, especially looking from the Poland perspective, in South America, Africa, Asia. So it has proven that no matter which location you go, whether it's really cold or really hot, our system is easily scaling over there, and it has proven that this demand for such kind of solution is the same no matter which part of the world you come from. Of course, a lot of individuals contribute to build our sensor. Like, for example, you have a project somewhere, you raise money, like, for example, through crowdfunding, and build the first network of sensors in a small city, and you prove that there are factors that are causing smog. But happily, a lot of huge clients, huge municipalities all around the world also trusted us. And there we have, like, for example, Berlin, Oslo, Norway, some communities in UK, Italy, and it all has proved that no matter which location we go to, air quality is a huge issue, and our solution works. What is interesting, we have catch attention also of very important investors recently, like, for example, the family of Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin, recently has invested in Early, and Richard Branson himself shared and advised people to use Early across his social media. So we believe that's a huge thing for a company that started from nothing, actually, and right now we are happy and we have a very exciting part of our action that so renowned and so respected entrepreneurs share the same approach and believe in our mission just as we believe in it. But of course, you may ask, okay, so if we know about the better quality we are breathing, so what is the next step? What comes from it? Yeah. So we believe that our mission is to repair the air around us, and the first step belongs to us because we want to provide you the best knowledge. But the next step belongs to you, the individual, the city official from the municipality. Thanks to this knowledge, when you point out the sources of air pollution in your location, you can take effective steps towards solving the problem. Like, for example, our city of Krakow, where we all started, has a very dense network of air quality sensors from ELI, over 200. And last year, the city introduced a ban on solid fuels. And very quickly, it proved that this solution works because during the winter time, we can see that the air quality in Krakow, in the city itself, was much, much better than the air quality in the outskirts of the city. So our very dense network of sensors has proven that it makes sense to have such dense network of sensors because you can know how the flow of air pollution actually goes and which region is the less polluted and which ones are the most polluted. Our mission is really big. Really big. I think even bigger than we even thought, because like the recent statistics say that over half of governments, the countries around the world, don't collect any real-time data about air quality. So like half of the world doesn't even know, the people don't know what air they are breathing at the moment. So like, for example, it proves how huge this mission is and how much exciting work is ahead of us. But of course, we believe that the big change comes from education, the big change comes from the awareness, and that's why we not only provide the air quality data, but we want to educate the young people, the older people about air quality, the sources, the reasons why the air quality is really bad. That's why we cooperate with schools. We give e-learning lessons. Back before the lockdown, we were meeting at schools and educating people. And we believe that it really makes sense because I think no one from us did really expect that the mission ahead of us will be so big, so exciting. We are very happy that what we do has purpose. We are very happy that we found our part in the startup ecosystem when we solve a real problem, a big problem that the whole world is facing. We believe that we could contribute to repair the air all around the world. And we believe that you will help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gnat. It's a very interesting case of benefits from technology. As a leading technology company, Huawei is more than willing to help the innovation startups. Let's welcome Mr. Maciej Sadowski, co-founder and president of Startup Hub Poland Foundation, to talk about a new program they are just about to launch.
Hi, European Innovation Day. My name is Maciej Sadowski, and in this difficult COVID time, I am sorry I cannot be with you on the stage, but I'm happy that internet enabled us to join you virtually.
Hello, hi. My name is Polona Bremczywa, and I'm COO of Startup Hub Poland Foundation. Maybe I will start with saying a little bit about us. Startup Hub Poland is an NGO that believes in making Poland the strongest hotspot for startups, regional capital place for the whole CEE region. We believe that only through engagement partners from different countries and technological areas, Poland can increase CEE global presence on a radar of biggest corporation, venture capital, and most disruptive startups. Brilliant technological minds from Poland and CEE have been for years contributing to development of the most vibrant solution for the world. Now, thanks to initiatives like Huawei Startup Challenge, Polish and CEE grade talents can develop their solution in Poland and for Polish people, neighborhoods, and society as a whole. One does not need to live abroad to meet global partners, win their appreciation and respect, and run very innovative business from here. Our region enjoys 30 years of rapid economic development and transformation, and because we remember where we came from, we should be the avant-garde of fighting social and technological inclusion in this part of the globe, and possibly also even wider.
And I want to add to what Paulina have said, that we really need such challenges because people here in Central Eastern Europe deserve great support because our technologists, our engineers are really great. They are leading edge and they want to promote social inclusion and fighting with all kinds of discrimination or lack of some certain goods or certain services in Poland and abroad. This is why in this challenge we are super happy to see not only Polish entrepreneurs, Polish startup companies that will apply with their great solutions, how to overcome those negative this exclusion elements, but also their colleagues, our friends from all Central Eastern Europe. It is because, as Paulina perfectly said, we believe that only together, only as a region, we can pose a significant difference to the planet, to the society, and also to our small neighborhoods, to rural areas, for example. And this is why in the challenge announced today in November, we want to tell you a little bit more how this challenge will look like. So you can be on every stage of development, of course, remaining a startup. You can have MVP, or you can have a prototype, or you can sell already and be on the market for some time. You need to have very disruptive idea how to overcome those exclusions, elements or cases. And they can be of different kind. Important thing is that we will expect your applications from December 2020 up to February 2021, so that Startup Hub Poland, our team, can analyze all of those disruptive ideas, all of those concepts, and provide the grand jury a list of companies that will be selected. And there are only 20 startups, 20 challengers that will fight for in this challenge. And the main moment, the grande finale of the challenge, we expect, hopefully COVID will not destroy our agenda, we expect to enjoy in March 2021. And thank you very much for having us. We hope that with the humble assistance of Startup Hub Poland, in this challenge, not only the greatest projects from Central Eastern Europe will appear, but also that the help that we will provide to startups will make their challenges, their mission even better and even more efficient. And right now, I want to leave a very best element of this introduction to the CEO of Huawei Poland, Mr. Tony Bao. And thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We are very proud to launch this program, competition, together with our partners, Startup Poland. In nowadays, technology is very important. It's changing the way we are living, changing the way we are working, and of course also changing the way that we are entertainment. Looking forward, I think it's no doubt technology and innovation will play even more significant role for the country, for the organization, for the family, for each individuals. As we very well know, Poland is very well known about the ICT experts, about the innovatives. Huawei as an ICT company, we are the same leading in the technology. Also, we're providing the best leading solutions in the whole world, like 5G, artificial intelligence, and the cloud. We are one of the best patents holders globally. So we have this genius and the competence to support the startups with the innovative ideas. This program, we're talking about inclusion. let's fight to focus against the exclusion. This program, with our encouragement, we would like to propose 3 prizes. The first one is 100,000 Polish zloty. Second prize is 50,000 Polish zloty. And the third prize is 35,000 zloty. With this encouragement and motivation, we would like to hear any kind of the innovative ideas, products, solutions, and to support the development of the country, of course, to support the better world of the people. So welcome, everybody, all the innovators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bao and Mr. Sadowski. It's a very interesting competition, and we are looking forward to more innovations and solutions to realize digital inclusion. As Mr. Bao has mentioned, technology should be broad and shared by all, while women are substantially less represented in the field. The following hour, we are going to talk around women and technology. First of all, let's pay tribute to great women in the history.
There were 5 females, and I was one of those 5 very first female engineers in the country. As more women come through, it will become normality. They won't stand out as much.
I think that women that are working in STEM field have a huge impact on others, because you tend to replicate what you see, and if there is no visibility, you think that's something that doesn't fit you.
And there is definitely more awareness and sort of voices around, and to try to make it better.
Intellectually, we're all equal. So don't hold yourself back, and don't feel scared about it, because once you're in it, you're doing it, it will happen naturally. So I hope that there won't be this difference, and women will feel a lot more comfortable within the classroom or in the work environment as well.
There are a lot of cool things that are happening now. So you can really make an impact, and you can really learn a lot of things. And it's also super cool that math and code meet somehow. So you really understand the math and you really understand the code.
Be proud of what you achieved every day, little project and little progress, and also share the joy and the success with others. Because only if you feel happy and feel proud of what you've been doing, and you will be interested to do the next one.
And it's exciting, and I would really encourage lots of young women to start doing some STEM subjects from school age, because that will open up more doors for you. You have a lot more options than to choose whatever, technical field that you want to go into as well.
In order to keep your career life long enough and also stay on top, you have to have the capability of learning. So stay inquisitive and be curious about the future and about the nature, and that is a very, very important thing for us, for me. I think also for the young girls and for my female colleagues, and to have.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of successes of others, because everyone's path is different. So you usually see other successes and you don't realize that insuccesses come along with it.
Don't let the word technical or engineering or computing put you off. Don't feel that you can't do anything that the men can't do. You can.
As we say in China, man and woman are 2 pillars to support the sky. So we hope that that's going to be the reality and the situation in the near future all over the world.
The participation of women has brought tremendous value in the development of technology industry. We would like to pay tribute also to those great women who use technology to fight digital exclusion. Here I would like to welcome Majka Lipiak, CEO Foundation Leżę i Pracuję, Work from Bed Social Enterprise, to give us a speech from changing a world idea to a Forbes list.
Hello, my name is Majka Lipiek, and I want to tell you how I jumped to one bed with two men. But please don't judge me. The reason for that is that we are in this together. Artur, the guy on the left, is disabled, and we wanted to show the solidarity with him in his disability. 5 years ago, a friend of us, Zuzia, posted a post on Facebook asking if there are some people willing to help with the renovation of Artur's mom room. And I was one of the volunteers. I came to his flat and saw a guy who literally spends 24 hours per 7 in his own bed. Of course, I knew that there are people with disability. I knew that there are people who are blind, who are deaf, who use a wheelchair, but I never knew that there are people like Artur, and he was the very first person in my life with such disability. So we kept, renovating this room. We started to talk, we had this small talk, and Artur asked me, what is your job? And I said, you know what, I work in public relations agency, I run Facebook business pages, and I wanted to be kind, so I asked, what is your job? And he said, I don't have a job. And I kept asking, and I asked, why? And he said, because there is no job for me. And you know what, I have this skeptical mind. So I said to Artur, there is 21st century. People work from every place in the world, from Caribbean, for example. Why not to work from your own bed? It's okay if you only have Wi-Fi connection, computer, and your phone, and you can work and, for example, run Facebook business pages for clients. And he seemed to believe me. I was probably the very first person in his life that showed me that despite his disability, he could work. And we became friends. We kept seeing each other. And one day, during one meeting, the idea of creating marketing agency for people such as Artur appeared. The name Leży i Pracuje, which we can translate as work from bed, came to my mind. And from that moment, I knew that it is a good name, that with that name, we could break some stereotypes and show that you can work from your own bed. Why work? Why work is important? For these 25 years, many people visited Artur. But basically, his day looked like this. Television, computer games. If any friend wanted to see him, he could see him, but if not, nothing else happened during that day. So I knew that there is a factor that is missing. And it was a decent work. And I believe that decent work is not only about income for a person with disability. It's much more. A decent work makes a person with disability being able to have new relationships, new knowledge, new goals, higher self-esteem, new satisfaction, new experiences, new achievements, and of course, new skills. Another question, why marketing agency? And the answer is very simple, impact. You can do good things, but if you cannot communicate it, the impact will not be that large, that big. So as a marketing agency, we can help different clients and different non-governmental organizations to make it louder, to make more people know about some valuable initiatives and valuable projects. And another question is why remote work? Because for many people with disability, it is the most comfortable way to work, and sometimes it's the only work that they can do, because they cannot go outside as easy as we can as people who are fully abled. So we started with Artur and Sylvester. There was only 3 of us, and our first motto, the season, as we called it, was we are in this together. We wanted to show this solidarity, that it's not only Artur's problem, but as a society, as his friends, we can help him. We can make something about his disability. Another year, and another people in our team, mentors and students, as we call it, because we have in our team people who never worked before working in our agency, and also PR and marketing specialists who share the knowledge with the students. So you can see that there is, for example, Nicole on the left, who has a spinal muscular atrophy, and today, after 3 years of work, she's great in such tools as Illustrator or Photoshop. She's our junior graphic designer. And the motto for that season was, there is more of us. And there was another year, the third year of our agency, and the motto of that year was live rich, because we wanted to show that we can make people's lives richer because of the fact that they can learn how it is to be a person with disability, how it is to work with such people, and we can show them that empathy and diversity at work is something really important. So as you can see, we had a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun as a team. We like each other. We not only want to work, but we are also a community. You know, people who like to work together. And the fourth year, this year, and the hashtag and motto in spite of, because we want to show that the pandemia and the stereotypes and many other barriers will not stop us before doing something really good and really important. So I told you about Nicole, and you can see that this young lady is really beautiful and happy, and I believe that working in Leżę i Pracuję agency really literally changes her life. And because of that work, she is more skilled, she can be happy. She also has more money for herself and her son, who is everything for her. And also Biały Krzysiek, as we call him, he's a great example because he shows that there are no barriers, and if you really want to work, you can work. He can only move with his head. He cannot move with his hands or his legs. And thanks to new technologies, such as the glasses you can see on his head, that let him controlling the computer by his eyes, he can write articles, and he is our copywriter. So we are a marketing agency, and after these 4 years, we can really say that we can compete with commercial agencies, and even if half of our team are people with disability, we are professional, we have a lot of skills, we can create websites and graphic designs, we do copywriting, we run Facebook business pages, and we do a lot of different marketing services. But as you can say, it's not only about marketing. We are not only marketing agency. We have a lot of our own social projects, and one of them is through the school, and we go to schools and we teach children how it is to be a person with disability. I don't remember even one lesson about this topic during my education time, and we believe that it's really important to start from the very beginning and to inspire kids and to let them know that disability is nothing bad. You know, it's not something bad. It's something good, and they can make friends with people with disability. Another of our projects is Wilkathon. It's our own hackathon, but dedicated to solve problems connected to the work of people with disability, with physical disability. So in November, in the end of November, we'll organize it again. It will be our second edition. It will be organized totally remotely, and we'll have teams that will work on some solutions, some innovations in this area. Another of our projects is Zdalniacy, because after these 4 years, we have like 300 people who want to work in our agency. But we know that it is impossible to give jobs to all of them and to have such big organization. We don't know it to be so big. And we want to inspire and to help other employers to employ people with disability. That's why we created Zdalniacy, and it will work in such a way that we will link people with paralysis, with disability, with employers who want to give a chance for a decent work to that people. And it's not only about marketing, it's not only about social impact, it's also about fame, as we laugh. And you can see that media love what we do. And I'm pretty sure that with this name, Foundation for People with Paralysis, we'll not make it that loud, you know, that our name, our story, this photo session in bed, it all makes us being creative and funny to show agency. We have also a lot of prizes. One of them is 30 under 30 ranking of Forbes, and I'm the one who represent our agency in this competition. I'm also a Businesswoman of the Year. We also had this TED Talk. We share a lot of our experiences in different places, and people keep saying that what we do is important, and we love it. It gives us a lot of energy. But you need to know that all this would not have happened without this consent with reality. If that day, during this first meeting with Arthur, I would say, okay, I'm sorry that you don't have a work, that you don't have a job, you know, nothing would change, you know. If I would say that the status quo is okay, nothing would change. So we need to say that we don't agree with the reality, that we want to change something in the world. Another thing is a pinch of naivety, or some people call it courage. Some people tell me that, oh, you are so courageous, you know, because you started such foundation, such social enterprise. And then I say, I'm not courageous, you know, I'm not courageous. I'm naive. Because if I would have all of this knowledge about how hard it will be, I would probably not start it, you know? So you need to have this pinch of naivety to believe that a better world is possible, you know? So we need it. Another thing is focus on my strengths. I'm an evangelist of a Gallup Institute test called Strengths Finder that shows you what are your 5 basic strengths, and I'm pretty sure that without focusing on my strengths, on the things and activities that I'm best in doing it, and I'm the most satisfied when I do it, I wouldn't be in that place, and my organization also. You need to focus on the things that you really love to do to be the best in what you do. And another thing is vision. Stephen Covey said that you need to start a thing with the vision of the end. I would lie if I would say that I had a vision of what we'll do in the next 50 years when we started, but I had a vision of a social enterprise. When I met Arthur, I already knew that one day I would love to be a social entrepreneur, that I want to change the world through a job, to a social enterprise. So I had this bigger vision, and I knew that it will not only be about Arthur's life, but that I want to help more and more people. Last but of course not least, new technologies. Without fast internet, without these eye tracking technologies, people such Arthur or Biały couldn't work. So thanks to all of these new technologies, thanks to the people, the innovators who create them, we can change people's lives. And the question is it easy? Of course it's not, but I'm sure that in the end of the day, I will not remember these hard things, but I will remember that we did something that people think is impossible, and we make it possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lipiak. Next, I would like to welcome more wonderful women who will join the panel discussion. First of all, let's welcome the moderator, Dorota Haller, CMO, Marketing, Communications and Digital Director, Huawei Polska.
Good morning and welcome to the European Innovation Day 2020 debate. The debate's title is Equal Opportunities, Diversity and Inclusion Policy in Technology Sector and Beyond, Best Practices to Empower Women. I think this speech of Micah was incredible. It touched my heart and my mind, and I hope we're going to discuss this. My name is Dorota Haller. I am Chief Marketing Officer of Huawei Consumer Business Group in Poland, and it is my pleasure to moderate this panel discussion today. So let's welcome our incredible panelists. It is my pleasure to introduce Lucia Krestintsova, member of Equality Task Force of the Commissioner for Equality, Helena Dalli, at European Commission. Lucia, would you like to say a few words about yourself, please?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Very nice to meet you through this innovation in the making, as we say. So my name is Lucia. I work in the European Commission's team who's looking at how can we mainstream equality in all policies that we're working on, because as we've seen in the previous example of how technology enables beautiful new opportunities for disabled people, we are trying to make sure that all these equality considerations are reflected in everything that we prepare as policies supporting the European member states. Other than that, I'm also host of podcast Lives in Europe, where I'm interviewing inspiring men and women from the European policy-making space, and a career coach for young, empowering, up-and-coming, emerging leaders. So that's a big passion of mine, to look at the technology of transformation and how technology in the hard sense of IT, but also in the soft sense of transforming people's minds and careers and lives, how can they come together in order for creating a better and bigger impact on our societies and communities.
Thank you, Lucia. Incredible. I'm very happy that you joined us today. Thank you. Our next panelist is Bianca Siwińska, CEO of Perspektywy Foundation. She's passionate about improving the world through support of talent in girls and in STEM field. Bianca, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm just a working woman. For the last 15 years, I just working hard to empower, inspire, and support women in science, innovation, technology. I got some experiences and I'm happy to share them.
You're working on the next big event, Perspektywy Women in Tech 2020, right? So we'll stay tuned for more on that. Thank you very much for joining the panel and for a short introduction. Our next amazing panelist is Olga Kozierowska, CEO of Success Written with Lipstick Foundation, of which foundation Micah, our amazing speaker, is, let's say, laureate of. Olga, please introduce yourself quickly. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, what can I say? For 12 years, I have been supporting women in Poland and basically fighting for equality. And this word fighting is quite important today. So I'm going to do that for the rest of my life, I think. And I'm glad to be here to discuss diversity and inclusion matters, because they are very important, especially during time like this, where we are trying to survive the pandemic.
Thank you, Olga. Last but not least, our final panelist is Eliza Durka, CEO of Cosmos for Girls Foundation. Cosmic name. Eliza, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much for invitation for this panel. Yes, my name is Eliza Durka and I'm CEO of Cosmos for Girls Foundation. I have 15 years plus experience in business, working the leadership position in international corporations including tech companies. But what fascinates me is a social change and the role the key stakeholders of this process can play in business, in public administration and NGOs. And currently I focus my professional efforts on social entrepreneurship by heading Cosmos for Girls Foundation. And just a few words about us. We are a small social-driven startup, and our aim is to be a center of public debate about girls' empowerment in Poland. And we educate, we make social impact, and we cooperate with all the stakeholders of girls' empowerment process. We believe that girls have power, and we will talk about this later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Wow, what an amazing group of speakers. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining us today. During this panel, what we would like to do is actually to showcase best practices of your work, right, of women empowerment in technology sector and beyond, as I said before. And we want for this platform to serve as an exchange for experiences and ideas for experts within Europe, from across Europe. Just to give you a little bit of Polish background, I'm Polish. In Poland, women currently constitute between 20 and 25 of employees in the tech companies, in the tech industry. And there is much less of us in managerial positions in this industry. Although this share actually has increased by 6 percentage points in the last 5 years and by around 11 in company boards, we still have a long way to go. Actually, women have enormous potential. We all agree to that, and you all stated that. And we can accelerate development of technology sector and give it new quality because, to be honest, after all, we are 50% of society. The question, my first question to you would be how to do it. How we can encourage and inspire young girls and women to become scientists, tech experts, innovators, and leaders of the digital era. Eliza, would you like to answer my first question first? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. We agree that we think that all girls and all young women should, first of all, they have potential, they have power, but what's the most important, they should have a choice in their lives. Among others, choice of the career path they want to take. But to have a choice, you need to have a chance to have a choice. And to have this chance to have a choice, you need to be equal with boys and not to stay behind them in terms of competences and knowledge. And you, Dorota, mentioned some numbers. I also have some numbers which are threatening me. According to PwC report, Women in Tech, Time to Close the Gender Gap, it's covering UK market, but 3% of females say a career in technology is their first choice. 3% only. 78% of students can't name a famous female working in technology. 16% of females have had a career in technology suggested to them, comparing to 33% of males. So last but not least, 5% of leadership positions in the technology sector are held by women. Oh my God.
Yeah, but this is, this is an amazing sharing. Thank you, Eliza. And this actually, makes me ask the next question. So what are the key factors of women participation in the tech sector? How should we change these numbers? How should we inspire women? And what is the most important thing we should do to change it? Lucia, what is your perspective from the European perspective rather than Polish?
Well, obviously, there's all kinds of plethora of barriers in the way, and obviously they differ not only across Europe but globally. And here we also have global audience listening to us today. What's important, I feel, as was already mentioned, is making sure that we give individual access to tools for everybody to work with the barriers that they're facing, because there's no one individual story that resembles another. Some of us have barriers that are not just relating to education that we receive, but health conditions, the geographies, access to internet, access to funding as female founders. I mean, I'm not even going to go to scary numbers that we're looking at the European level, where we see it's absolutely unbelievable how difficult it is for a woman entrepreneur to get her business up and running. But is it an empowering question to be asking ourselves what are the barriers, or is it more empowering to be asking ourselves what are the tools that we can create and how can they trickle down to the individual communities that we are part of? Because obviously there's a lot of programs, amazing, support structures and policy tools and funding programs, which can be very difficult to navigate for an individual entrepreneur. For those of us who've tried it, know that it can be very, very overwhelming when somebody comes to you and asks you, how do you benefit from this and that European legislation or funding program, because it can be a complicated world to navigate. So I think the most important question to ask ourselves is, how can we show up as an agent of support for the women that we operate with in our communities, and how can we offer the access to technology, information, knowledge, skills, or funding that we have? How can we support it and spread it further? Because it's only through this network field working that we can kind of help the individual stories advance more faster.
Right. So navigation through the programs. This is something that I'll definitely take out from your sentence. Thanks very much, because there is a lot of programs, but sometimes it's difficult to find the right one for a certain field of interest. Olga, you mentioned in your introduction that empowerment, women empowerment, is close to your heart and close to what you do at the foundation Sukces pisane szminką, success written in lipstick. How would you say, what's the most successful way of empowering women from your experience?
If you let me, I would like to say a few words about girls, because we live in the world of stereotypes. And so the first thing to do is to change the way of education and to make people be aware of the stereotypes. So parents, for example, will say to a girl, yeah, go do mathematics, or go do IT course, not go horse riding or ballet, take ballet lessons. So this is something which we have to be aware of, and basically educate ourselves, educate others, and look up at the education system at school. So to say about empowerment, I mean, yeah, I've been doing it for many years now, and I can notice that, of course, the role of women is changing, and in the field of business, in the field of equality at home as well. Because my belief is that without equality at home, we will never be equal in business, in doing career, for example, because the level of energy will not be the same of working mom or working mom manager and manager male, so working father, but we don't use it because that's another stereotype. We use the word working mom, but we don't use the word working father. So basically, we have to start with ourselves, with our awareness, and then we have to be really open for differences as well, and to be able to take benefits from that. Because this is what we've been working now in our foundation to as well include men in changing the world. Otherwise, we cannot do it alone any longer.
Well, we are 50-50% of society, right? So we have to do it together. Thank you. Very interesting point about stereotypes.
I would like to add something here in the stereotypes. Yeah, because that's what my foundation is dealing with, and the problem starts in the classroom, because the challenges we face as women originate in school, where, as Olga said, where too few girls are pursuing studies in computer and related subjects, and that's because of stereotypes. Yeah. And there's very interesting research by DigiSkills, the lab, Warsaw University, mentioning this and listing this stereotypes. And first of all, maths, it's not for you, girl. Yeah, that's the message young girls are listening from their environment, from in their house, at school. And research shows that both boys and girls have the same ability, the same talent in their early school years to learn math, but from some reasons, and this reason is stereotype, girls are dropping out, yeah, and they stay behind boys. The second very important stereotype is it's a man's world that they're at the top, yeah? There are men who are dealing with serious things in this world, and you, little girl, you stay at home and, you know, do some arts or other things. And the third the stereotype, which is very dangerous for women is that women are dedicated to their families at first place. Yeah, and when we put those three stereotypes together, we have the answer. And based on the stereotypes, we can project our activities. That's what we are doing in our foundation. I can tell about some activities we do.
Thank you very much, Elisa. This is, I absolutely agree. You know, stereotypes are here to be actually stopped, or it's our work, or your amazing work, to educate the society about this. And I believe that actions always speak louder than words. Could you ladies just share with us some examples of your actual work that fights those stereotypes or actually helps empower women in technology? And I think, Bianca, maybe you could start. Thank you.
Yes, I think I have a great example.
Yeah.
My organization organizing for last 3 years, very interesting project called IT for She. And this is very tricky idea behind. Because this project is aimed actually for boys and girls in small villages and small towns. And we are sending every year 100 volunteers to those small location destination, just to teach them for 1 week programming, robotics, new technologies, this kind of stuff. But the teachers, volunteers, are female students from IT departments, so girls only. So both boys and girls can contribute and can just take a part in it, but the teachers are females, are women. Women very good in technologies. So the idea behind it is to bring like female role model into the small villages, schools, small cities, and just to show them, not directly, but like in the unconscious way, that the woman is really good at it and can have a great career in it and can have an education in the technologies, in STEM, in science, engineering, mathematics. So we are changing minds.
And what do you think from your perspective, excuse me, just one question came to my mind, from perspective of, you know, those girls and young women in smaller towns, do you see more barriers? Is it more difficult to talk to them and to make them believe that they have a future in tech or math or science? It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, because those are usually more traditional communities. And the stereotypes we are not experiencing anymore in, I don't know, Warsaw, other big cities, are very alive in there. So those girls especially needs inspiration. We published a report in 2015, Women's Potential for High-Tech Industry, and we were talking with 2,000 secondary school girls. And we are trying to find out what is the difference between this group, which is choosing science, technology, informatics for their future education, and what is this critical factor, what differentiates this group from all others, the majority. So the only thing we could find actually was lack of role models, lack of good stories of successful women in mathematics, engineering, programming. As Elisa mentioned before, almost 90% of girls from these traditional communities didn't experience any inspiration from this side. So such organizations like Perspektywy, like Sukces pisany szminką, like Kosmos dla dziewczynek, we are providing good stories for girls.
Thank you. What I would say, you ladies, you actually walk the talk, and this is the most important thing. It's not just about inspiring and talking, having a panel like this one, thanks for sharing again, but walking the talk. So actually, putting actions behind words. I have now another, more practical maybe question to you, Lucia. Because you mentioned there are so many different initiatives. What would be the most effective programs from your perspective to help building more equal and inclusive digital society in Europe?
What a question.
I know. I don't expect you to actually name them, but perhaps we can give some kind of a roadmap for our viewers where to look for those, just to be a practical help.
Of course. Maybe to frame a little bit what we're doing in the European Commission, the easiest way for beginners to understand what we do is if you search in your internet browser European Commission Gender Equality Strategy, you will come to a website which tells you everything about the equality strategy that was adopted by the European Commission under the first ever mandate, which is led by the first female president of the European Commission and the first female commissioner designated for equality only. There's a whole series of actions which focus on legislation to support workers, pay gap, pension gap, domestic violence, a whole series of problems that women face. So that's a little bit the policy framework, which is always accompanied by concrete action. So whatever area is close to your heart, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a mother or you're a victim of violence or you're a cybersecurity expert curious about what is it that we have at our disposal at European level, I would really invite you to go to those websites and look at the angle that is closest to you. Then second, I would recommend for everybody to question their sources. We have all kinds of information shot at us about what Europe is and is not and does and doesn't. It's very interesting and very complicated space to navigate. So I think it's a very important homework for everybody to do in choosing what source they're consuming as an information source, because it's not easy. So out of all organizations like the ones that we have on the panel here, or the journalists or platforms that you're following, be very careful about the information that you're seeking, and pick an influencer or a knowledgeable journalist or a politician that you feel is active in this space to follow them and feed you the up-to-date information whenever there's a new thing coming up that could be relevant for you, because this is such a crowded space, and now we're not in an era of lack of information. We're simply in an era of fighting for people's attention and understanding of an ability to navigate that space. So it's important to choose who is going to be our source. And as we already mentioned, also pick the role models that we're following and think about how you can become a role model for a female entrepreneur that's in your neighborhood, in your family, in your community, because it's really, I really believe being a policymaker, at the same time, I always keep on repeating that it's important that we don't forget the second side of the coin, which is playing our individual responsibility role vis-a-vis the women and men that are around us, so that we really help to fight those stereotypes in our most immediate circles.
Yeah, thank you very much. Stereotypes, but also the language. Sometimes it's difficult to understand the language on official sites of EU and European Commission. And Lucia, you're doing a great job actually translating it into consumer language, or more, let's say, every user-friendly language. So thanks for that comment. Olga, you mentioned women and men and women at work, moms at work and fathers at work as a non-existent. Perhaps our current experience of the global pandemic made us realize even more the importance of speeding up of empowerment efforts. All of us, all of a sudden, we work from home, we educate our kids from home, we live at home, we spend all of our lives at home. And this is a new reality, which we don't know when it's going to change. Can we see this as an opportunity? Maybe that's a little bit of a different question, but do you see that this potentially an opportunity? And what can we do to use this time of crisis to change and to make the world maybe more inclusive and compassionate?
Yeah, that's a
Olga or
long question.
anybody, it's just your comment inspired me for this question, so that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, so do we have like 10 hours to talk about that at least?
I don't think so, but hey, you know, maybe we'll stretch this panel a little bit. No, obviously shortly, but you know, it really makes a lot of women think about this, and I've had a lot of conversation about this also among professional women.
Yeah, first of all, we've done research as a foundation, and we found out that during lockdown, for example, women on average were working 11 hours more than men because they were doing everything else, like taking care of kids, doing homework with them, or basically becoming teachers, cleaning, cooking, taking care of other things at home, plus working, using, of course, internet and different platforms. So it was really hectic. Moreover, or beside that, that would be the better word, I see many opportunities for equality as using internet and working from home now give you flexibility, give you a less pressure in a way. You can show your work more easily in a way because not only usually you can prove your career or prove the work you do by doing some networking or basically promoting yourself in a traditional way. But now the traditional way doesn't work. So basically, this is becoming more transparent. In terms of women being promoted and basically showing their work and successes. I personally like crises as this forced me to think how to do it in a different way, new way, how to use technologies, how to look at your business, at your work from completely different perspective. So I really believe that we can use technology and use this difficult time to grow in a way.
Yeah, crises stimulate creativity, some people think, and I understand you think that too. So thank you for this perspective. Well, ICTs are especially relevant today as we face this rapidly changing world and we are in this crisis. I have a question which might seem a little bit controversial, but do you ladies think that technology sector should have gender parity? Should we have 50-50 women and men working in this sector? Okay, this is a very interesting reaction.
Okay, so maybe I just start. In my opinion, it's not about exact like numbers, like 50-50. The issue is that all women who are like created for it or just interested in it or just wants to fulfill their potential in the era of new technologies, they just should have their opportunity, their chance to do it. If it will be 35%, 43 or 61, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Elisa?
Yes, I agree with Bianca that it's hard to set the numbers, the limits. I think that the most important is showing the necessity of women working in technology and like the joining this field arm in arm with men. And I strongly believe that work on role models, so like showing the successful women who are in technology in the tech sector is really the most important thing, just to showing tangible way that such a development path is not only available, but it's attractive for women and girls. And I would like to share with you some our activities in this field. So we publish bi-weekly Cosmos for Girls magazine, in which we fight for empowering young girls, and in every issue we show the role model, the example of the woman who is successful in her field. Here is the issue about technology purely, and we have the story of Joanna, who is programmer, yeah, and so we tell about her life, how she did it, what the stereotypes she was fighting with, how she achieved her success, and how she feels in this technology sector. And we strongly believe that speaking this language to young women is the answer for achieving this goals. And yeah, so I think that role models once again are the most important.
Again, it's walking the talk. Thanks for sharing this example. This is an example of girls who are actually programmers, right? You know, there is another question, because we're talking a lot about young women and girls and about education, as this is key to change the mindset of our youngsters. But how do you think we could change mindset of managers, actually, of managers and organizational cultures towards becoming more inclusive and supportive of women in leadership, in technology and beyond? Many corporations have a lot of programs, but and it's fantastic, it's great that those programs exist, but I believe that actually we have to change everyone's mindset and again walk the talk. How do you think we could do that?
I believe that I'm sorry, my computer is running out of battery, so I will let somebody speak first. I'm sorry.
Okay, Olga.
Okay, maybe maybe I will just add a little bit academic perspective, because managers, of course, coaches, of course, but I'm dealing very often with rectors of technical universities. This is a very interesting group to work with. Usually, these are like older men, engineers, in power, and they are not so easy to, you know, to be impressed with what I'm saying. But I need to work with them because I'm organizing many events at technical universities for students, for young professionals, cooperate with all 20 Polish technical universities. So I need to convince them to support women, to be open for women, to give us space. So what I'm doing, I'm not trying to talk with them directly, but I'm always trying to find someone even older, even more engineer, even more, you know, traditional in the mindset. Like, for example, president of European Rectors Association, yes? So this is kind of role model for Polish rector, yes? So this is like kind of a dream career for Polish rector. And I'm convinced this guy to talk to my guys, because directly it doesn't work. This is experience for last 15 years. You need to find someone who people you are trying to convince to something are just respecting. So this is like triangle of role models.
Okay, thank you.
I'm back. Yeah.
We're glad to have you back, Olga.
Well, thank you. Yeah, one thing is, of course, diversity, and many companies are speaking loudly about diversity, having programs for that, programs for empowering women, but they're not doing one thing which is extremely important, which is called inclusion. So this is the most important word. And what I found out that is that we really need more men and more leaders, women leaders as well, to help us to achieve equality in business. Otherwise, we have only publicity of huge companies talking about diversity and inclusion. But when we look at numbers, we can see, I don't know, 60, 70% of women to the top or to the level of managers, and then above 1%, 2%, sometimes 6%, or none in some industries. So what we need is to do programs from bottom up and from top down. So to involve those leaders, to be open for that and to support that. And as Bianca said, when I join a party and people don't know me and I'm with my husband and I say I'm a feminist, they really react in a usually strange way. So I'm not a hero. But when my husband says that he's a feminist, then he's a hero, and that's amazing. So that's why I have created within our foundation club, where 12 CEOs, male CEOs, are talking to people with my words. So it becomes important because they support it. It's not maybe I didn't use it correctly, not my words, but basically words they believe in and they support. And because they are engaging other men from the companies, so the understanding, awareness is growing. What I've learned as well is that men are really afraid of word gender equality. They think it's most of all helping women and taking away things from them, privileges. So it's really important for men to understand that if somebody has privileges, this person does not see that. We don't see privileges in the household environment. For example, taking care of kids. When somebody wants to divorce me, who will take kids? Me as a woman or a guy? This is my privilege as a woman. But, and I don't see that if I don't really look at that from a close perspective. And it's the same in business. Guys don't see they have privileges, and the privilege was given to them by history because they created business. They've been developing that for years, for hundreds of years. So this is really important for them to understand that we don't want to take away their privileges. We want the same privileges.
Exactly. Very nice point, Olga. Thank you.
Yeah, girls, I think that we should look on the bright side also. And,
Always.
And the bright side are numbers, which speak for themselves. Like every business which wants to develop should focus on diversity, because diversity is an engine for the development and for creativity. Yeah, so those organizations which want to grow, to develop, should focus on diversity, and no one can stop this process. It's just happening. So it's hard, but it's going on.
Definitely. And we all, organizations like yourselves help. Sorry, I didn't hear.
I said that especially in crisis, we need diverse team. We need diversity. We need to use talents from both sexes because this will bring everybody money and success, and business will grow, and we can go abroad with our ideas, with our products. So this is really important. Otherwise, we create something for a small group, for like Poles, for example, and if we want to sell it, I don't know, across the ocean, nobody will buy it because Poles will only create it.
Well, Olga, you asked if we have a week. Unfortunately, we don't. I have a final question. I wish we had, but I have a final question. And the question is, do you think technology can help gender equality and women economic empowerment? And if so, how?
Yeah, I can only say from business perspective that it really gives a lot of opportunities, even for women being on maternity leave or parental leave. They can open their companies, they can sell their products even through Instagram or Facebook or different platforms. And I really think that this gives us flexibility and really a lot of opportunities. Not only for big corporations, but as well for people willing to earn some money working from home.
And I would say that technology is a tool only in the hands of people. So it depends, because technology, of course, can support a fight with discrimination, with stereotypes. It can empower women and give them tool for, like Olga said, for self-development, for business. But also, when used in the wrong way, can reproduce different kind of stereotypes, like from artificial intelligence algorithms. It can be dangerous. It can be excluding people. So at the end of the day, people are responsible for technology. And if the society, the community is aware enough and understand that women are power and women are potential and women have this ability to change the world and to bring a lot of qualities, a lot of knowledge, a lot of work, ideas. So in this case, it will work.
Thank you, Elisa. Lucia?
An absolute yes from my side. It's funny that I just got disconnected from the call for a while, so it's funny how the technology can empower and also take us out of the conversation. Yeah, I think it's a very powerful channel, a tool for transformation. It's important to be knowledgeable and aware of how we use it, because this was already mentioned. The words create worlds, and it's important to be aware of what kind of conversations we facilitate through the technology. And it's not just the question of the numbers game, but exactly a conversation about inclusion and what kind of value is there coming out of diversity for our society and organization. So it's not just about quota and pay gap and the very tip of the iceberg kind of conversation, but it's really about the value of the feminine leadership and what kind of tools we can provide to one another for the women leaders to rise to the levels at which they would like to create their impact, and how men can also be part of that conversation and empower them along the way. Which also brings me to a point that I wanted to make previously, which is about the power of the support structures that are so important for every woman, because sometimes we're lucky to have a very conscious leader on top of the organization who acknowledges the value of equality and diversity for the organization. Sometimes there are very powerful structures and almost like bottom-up initiatives in the companies, but oftentimes these women leaders feel very lonely as almost unicorns in their organizations, which stand for a new vision.
I would also add that actually not only technology can empower women, but women can empower technology, can bring a lot of new things, a lot of new ideas, and also can just direct a little bit technology in the way that they should serve the people. We are experiencing a lot of crises. COVID is one of them, but also climate change is coming. We need wise technologies and wise people responsible for technologies. So I think this mix of women and technology, this is something what really can give us the hope for the future.
Beautifully said, Bianca. Thank you. Elisa, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I'm impressed with what Bianca said, and I fully agree with you. And I also agree with Olga. So I think that in this pandemic world, technology more than ever is a huge change, and it's like window of opportunity for women, because unfortunately women are this group which is more affected by, negatively affected by this situation, this invisible work of women. We were talking about it, And in this particular case, during this crisis we are facing right now, technology can be relief, can be a change, and the way how we use it is another story, but the most important is that we have it and we can use it.
Thank you. Ladies, I'm very practical. I'm a businesswoman. So thanking you very much for taking part in the European Innovation Day 2020. To wrap up, I would like to ask a very pragmatic question. In one sentence or one word or short 2 sentences, what would you say is your takeout from this panel?
I think I will use my last words just to invite all women in technology, but also men, for Perspective Women in Tech Summit 2020, which will take place in December. And I think that this is a great opportunity to continue this conversation and meet great people, because 10,000 women will be online with us. And this is what I wanted to share.
Thank you. We'll definitely be there. Olga?
Yeah, my takeout is to go on and to change the world of stereotypes, because as we can all see, and you asked about women in technologies being on top and parities. So if we have more women, then we will talk about parities. So that's an opportunity for future.
Thank you very much. Lucia?
For me, it's think about one thing that you can do for one of the women around you for her to shine more than she does already. That's what I'm also trying to do by my podcast. So if that's interesting for anybody, please get in touch. My greatest passion is to really shine the light on the new leaders who are trying to lead through new value space and show how we can be those role models for others.
Thank you very much. Elisa, your takeout?
For me, the takeout is about cooperation and collaboration, and what we showed here during this panel. So cooperation between stakeholders from different sectors, and that's what we did here today. So thank you very much, like business and public administration and NGOs together, trying to work out how to empower women. I think that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you very much for your attention. This is a wrap-up, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, ladies. We really enjoyed the conversation. Last but not least, I would like to welcome Radosław Kędzia, Vice President of CE and Nordic Region at Huawei, to give us the closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for sparing your precious time to join us in discussing how we could jointly build a better future for the ICT industry and for the world as a whole. Over the last 2 days, we covered many topics, including how to help and support young people in the ICT sector, how to attract, retain and grow the new talent, how innovative technologies can empower startups and entrepreneurs, and how to better tackle persistent challenges, including the gender gap. A number of new partnerships and plans have also been discussed at this event to further tackle the challenges we face. What we have learned over the past few days will guide further efforts and plans for the future. Over the next 20 to 30 years, the world will become increasingly connected because of new technological innovations. The pandemic has accelerated the digital and intelligent transformation and reminded us that we are in urgent need of innovation and cooperation to ensure the effect technology has on society and individuals is positive, balanced and inclusive. Innovation requires talent and is driven by talent. This year marks the 20th year of Huawei presence on the European market. Europe's history and cultural heritage are rich, and Huawei continues to work with local partners to actively promote technology innovation, ICT talent cultivation, and inclusive education in digital skills. To foster digital ecosystems, Huawei has been committed to the In Europe, for Europe strategy, and we are working with the European partners through initiatives such as the Seeds for the Future program, professional certification programs, ICT competitions, the ICT Academy, and recently SmartBus. These programs bring talent together from around Europe to discuss, learn, and share. In the future, Huawei will continue to focus on building an ICT talent ecosystem, work with its partners to promote prosperity within the ICT industry, and continue its Tech for All initiative to make sure the digital technologies benefit every person, family, and organization. We believe that technology should be shared by all and that women should be better represented in this field. Women have long played crucial roles in technological innovation. Ada Lovelace, the world's first programmer, Rosalind Franklin, whose work allowed for the discovery of the structure of the DNA, Marie Curie, whose research on radiation saved countless lives who were on the front lines. These women made the technology industry what it is today. The avenue that runs through Huawei headquarters in Shenzhen is named after Madame Curie. This is one of the small ways we try to pay tribute to women who came before us in the hope that it can inspire a new generation of women to break new boundaries. As many outstanding entrepreneurs, scholars, and leaders have pointed out in their discussions over the past 2 days, both policy support and educational opportunities will be needed to truly empower women and help them achieve competitive edges in the digital era. We hope that this digital era will bring women unique advantages into full play and further promote gender equality in both our industry and broader society. As Madame Curie once said, we must have perseverance and, above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and this thing must be attained. Her perseverance and optimism may be our best guideline for the future. I believe that more challenges we face, the more we need to work together towards shared visions. This year, Huawei Innovation Day in Europe will be held in many countries, starting from Poland. We look forward to continuing the dialogue and discussion in Munich, Germany on December the 3rd. Together, we innovate for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks to all who have participated in the discussion during the last 2 days. More than ever, we need innovation and talent to meet the challenges we've never faced before. More than ever, we need united efforts to fight against exclusion. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us for those 2 days discussing the outlook of digital society and talent development. The next Innovation Day will be held in Germany, Munich, on December the 3rd. We are looking forward to seeing you soon.